Our next story. It is true that the All Progressives Congress APC-led federal government only inherited an annoyingly lingering and protracted strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU. It's a matter for deep regret that both parties in the dispute are feuding over enhancing tertiary education in our country on the one hand, and a question of accountability on the other. As it stands, ASUU says it has lost trust in the current federal government because it's a serial promise breaker. ASUU is insistent on a strike. This strike could come off at any moment, Jide.
Yes, it could come off at any moment. In just a little over a week from now, ASUU will be having its NEC meeting. And after that NEC meeting, they could take that decision. This whole matter, I would say, has lingered for too long. On December 22, 2020, ASUU and the federal government got into what you call the Memorandum of Action, and certain steps were supposed to be taken because ASUU suspended the strike, not really call off. There's a difference between calling off a strike and suspending it. Yeah. When they suspend a strike, they reserve the right to go back on strike without notification.
That's it.
Yes, you don't need to notify your employer. The labor law says before going on strike, you must notify your employer. But when you suspend a strike
and not end,
you don't need to write to your employer that you are going on strike, because the strike never ended in the first place.
Means you can step on the gas anytime.
So now, look at December 22nd, 2020, till this day. Those issues that ASUU was assured will be resolved, that prompted it to call off the strike. After about 6 months, we have seen that they've not addressed those issues. They've merely addressed the issue of short payment, salary short payment, and visitation panel to universities. In fact, the crisis at UNILAG was eventually resolved by the visitation panel, which means these universities need their visitation panels, to be up and doing. What ASUU wants this time is not for all of the 8 demands to be met.
Yeah.
They are just saying, look, meet 2 of the conditions. And those conditions are brush IPPIS aside and use UTAS.
UTAS, yes.
Which you told them when they said they didn't want IPPIS because it was not flexible enough. In the university system, you are allowed to go on sabbatical. Even people come from other countries of the world, yes, to do the sabbatical at your place, teach. But IPPS will never capture such people.
Okay.
Because it's not that flexible.
Yeah.
Lecturers go from university to university, do some time there, teach, and then go back to their
base.
If you are to go ahead with IPPIS, they will not be paid when they were over there, because IPPIS only recognizes you as an individual working in one university. All over the world, the idea of visiting lecturer and all that, is a common thing. We cannot reinvent things in this manner in our country. And they are saying, look, we want something different to IPPIS. And the ministry now said, okay, can you design something? And they designed the software, the University Transparency and Accountability Solution, UTAS. You allow them to do all that. Now you are reluctant to take it on board. So, and for these lecturers...
After you ask them to create it.
And you have tested it, and it was affirmed that the UTAS was good enough. Now, the second condition that they want met is renegotiation of the condition of service of academic workers. Since 2009, in the agreement reached back then, it was resolved that they will, from time to time, review the salary of academic staff. Since 2009, it has not been reviewed, which means your salary from that time is what you are still earning. That is why today in Nigeria, a professor of 10 years standing will be earning in the region of 400 naira to 416,000.
As much as for 26,000 that you can earn as a professor.
As a professor, no, 10 years. So why wouldn't, and government set up a committee to meet with ASUU. It was Professor Musa Ibrahim, former AUC executive secretary, that led that panel. He met with ASUU and some resolutions were reached. Government is reluctant to implement the agreement that, I mean, the resolutions reached by a panel that it set up. Because the lecturers didn't bring Musa Ibrahim. You sent him to interface with these guys. Now, you are refusing to implement his own findings. So these are the basic issues. Remember, clerics met with ASUU in December. The, I think, Sultan, Khan president and the rest of them, and they pleaded with ASUU, don't go on strike, don't go on strike. But what ASUU said was, can you just meet the government on our behalf and tell them to meet our demands? Those guys were clearly looking for an opportunity to meet the president. I think it was just this week, after ASUU began mobilizing for a strike, that those old men were able to meet the president. Now, does it not look late now? Because even the clerics have not gone back to ASUU to say, look, we've met with the president as you demanded. These are the things that the president said to us. So if government had been faithful in meeting, fulfilling promises made to ASUU, we won't be in this mess. Here. And if they are saying only 2 conditions out of 8, I think that they bent over backwards enough. They should be able to meet just those 2 conditions.
Tunde, I'm surprised at this point. Begs the question of, so who wants university education dead?
Well, I think I will answer you. There are 2 clear questions that we can raise. Number 1, 2009, a child that was born in 2009 will be 13 years old this year. In 3 years' time, is ripe enough to go to the university if he makes his school start, which means it is not impossible. I pray so that this government will resolve this.
Then they hear your prayer.
It is not impossible that in 3 years' time, that child that was born when the agreement was signed in 2009, by the time he joins the university in 3 years' time,
he would have
the problem would have been there. And the lecturers who taught 2 sets of graduates or 3 sets of graduates before he gained admission will still be earning the same salary. So do you call that one started growth? I think there are 2 things. Number 1, we have never had a government in the last 25 years that is actually committed to progressing education in Nigeria. I don't know.
Number
2, or that they are being naive about what national development is all about.
When you say they, who are these they?
Those people who are policy formulators for government. They are being naive about how to help Nigeria to move forward. Because when you produce graduates that are not employable, when you treat ASUU like this is what you get. Like I said, in 13 years, it will take 3 points. The last one is that they are asking for a National University Act. Let the government set up a committee, they put people of their own there. Those people signed the agreement in 2009. They have produced 3 sets of graduates. These lecturers are still earning the same salary.
They are even saying that it's lesser than what they were earning, because IPPIS what they were earning before IPPIS was higher than what they now earn.
No.
Because IPPIS, according to them, you don't even know what you earn in a given month. What you earn today may be what you earn, may not be what you earn tomorrow. And some of the taxes that were not there before the IPPIS came, those taxes have been introduced. So their salaries are now lower than pre-IPPIS era.
Just a small guy who got, elected to the State House of Assembly. By now, they earn more than a professor who has put in 30 years in service, doing research, doing everything, and you expect the country to progress. It is not possible.
Today, but
it is not possible.
Look, the Office of the Accountant General defends the migration of all government employees to the IPPIS, that's Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System. But ASUU describes that as very shameful, because as he said earlier on, you have a formula devised by the university authorities.
That is peculiar to the university environment.
Yes.
That is peculiar to the university environment. You cannot just describe or treat university lecturers as civil servants that earn salary on a grid. Like he said, people go on sabbatical. We have experienced people come from America, from US to do sabbatical in Nigeria. Nigerians travel out. In fact, before you become a professor, it's not possible that you have not traveled out of the country. That is one of the benefits of being in the academics. But the benefits have been removed over the time.
Ibrahim is reaching us from Kaduna. Ibrahim, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good evening to your two guys here, especially Baba Ajide. Yesterday, I tried to reach him for the type of regime.
You have reached him now. Let's get talking,
So, you see, happy weekend to both of you.
Thanks.
The issue of strike, again, I don't know. I don't know why government always like to hear that name. Until they have what they call strike before they're ready to meet up. Strike has become a language that the government always understands. I don't know. The type of challenges that the students face before they're able to go back, few months or as soon as last year, is not enough for them to meet up this demand they are saying. But on the issue of IPPIS, quite okay. IPPIS is very good to couple with at least due to what the government has saved us from it. But if the university or lecturers say they want to move us from it, to me really, I don't really cherish it. But the only thing that most people that are facing now is when they are due to payment, the HRL will not release funds to those that are concerned. That is my concern with most of them. But in the aspect of strike, please, government that should look inward, they should just try to avert this situation, because now they don't have time. We are moving towards the era of electioneering. That is my cry. We don't want to. If the election is going, they allow them to go to front. They allow us to go to work.
Ibrahim, we share your fears. They are genuine. But, Jide, so at this point, the education should be something the people in government should hold like an egg so it doesn't break. But here we are. Are they particular about keeping the people down so nobody challenges them? I don't know. Who is afraid of making sure tertiary education is put on a sound footing?
I think there is a desire to simply watch public universities die, because a lot of these people don't put their children in public universities. But they are themselves product of public universities. You know, the ministers, the famous ones amongst them, I can reel out the universities that they attended, the public universities that they attended. We too are products of public universities. So why must we watch the public universities die?
What's the place of the labor minister who is a graduate?
Well,
in all of this,
his hands may be tied, because this thing,
labor minister.
Let me be fair to the labor minister. His hands may be tied. His ministry is one of the ministries that you can't really say has so much money. So these are all things that ASUU wants. they require a lot of money and all that.
Yeah.
So even if he's disposed to it, what if the finance ministry says, look,
money no deal.
we really don't have the money. Look at even the revitalization fund. They were only able to release 20 billion. What is 20 billion in what ASUU is asking for? So I don't know. I just think that the government should sit up. When you enter into negotiations with people, you are obligated to honor your own side of the bargain.
That's it.
If we don't do that, then you will not be seen as honorable people.
Okay, we must go. But I hope government will not listen to this, what I'm saying now. And educated people will be very difficult to drive. I hope you didn't get that. Tunde, that made sense?
Well, it does. But
if people are educated, they know their rights, so you can't drive them.
They can ask for it. All
right, we must go. We must go. Let the debate continue. Our job is done, but don't forget to join us on Sunday. From 1:30, we have an expanded show for you for 2 hours. But if you miss this particular edition, join us on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now. Take care of yourself.